When I was 17, my mom came into money. She tried to keep it quiet, but she paid off my dad's debts, bought him a small house, paid off her debts, and paid for my sister's college and set up funds for mine. She had a boyfriend at the time, and shortly after him and his son, who was 7, moved into our new house. Over the next few years, Mom bought my sister a house after she graduated college. Her boyfriend lived with us and didn't pay anything, but he did work. When I was 21, Mom got diagnosed with cancer. It wasn't good. She sat me and my sister down and went over exactly how much money there was. She intended to give her current house to me, and both me and my sister were left with a large sum at the end of it. She asked if I would allow her boyfriend to stay in the house with his son until he got his own place. I agreed. Before she died, she told her boyfriend he would need to look for his own place but had time to save more for that journey. For the last 4 years, he has continued to reside in the house with his son. I haven't minded because we get along okay. I pay all the bills, but he does buy food for him and his kid. He has dated off and on and mostly kept the women out of this house, which I respected him for, until his current partner. She's been in my house 3 times, and at first, besides feeling a little uncomfortable, I was okay with her. The last time this past weekend was the point where I lost my crap. I was making myself some lunch when she came walking downstairs. She grabbed a plate and went to grab food out of my pan. I asked her what she thought was doing. She started telling me how I should look for somewhere else to live, and leeching off my dead mom's past relationship as an adult was pathetic. I hollered for my mom's old boyfriend. He came down, and I told him I didn't know what he current thing thought, but I wasn't going to be disrespected in my house. He wouldn't even look me in the eyes as he mumbled something about my mom promising him the house, and he was just being kind, letting me stay. First, that isn't remotely true. Mom pulled him and I together after she asked if he could stay to set expectations. My mom met him shortly before she won the money and told him and us girls that she had no intention of leaving him money. She did set aside a fund for his son for college when he gets there, but he cannot touch it. Only his son can. He has lived in this house almost 8 years without paying a dime. He should have plenty of money, and if he doesn't, that's on him. I told him he had 30 days to leave. I wasn't going to house someone who would lie and disrespect me in my house. He left that night with his son, but his ex-wife called to tell me I am cruel and a butthole for her son losing his house. He is here every other week. I really feel like my mom didn't expect him to still be here, but my sister said she feels like I am breaking my promise to my mom, and that made me feel like maybe I am the a-hole. Comments a commenter, not the a-hole. The critical part here is that your mom asked you to let him stay until he got his own place and to give him time to find one. In that time, instead of looking to move somewhere else, he continued to settle into life in the house, to the point where he even started bringing a new girlfriend along. He moved on, but didn't move out. Him lying to her and telling her this was his house tells you everything you need to know about his actual intentions to leave. You kicking him out wasn't abrupt. The clock had run out on your mother's kindness and your obligation to her a long time ago, and he was living there on generously borrowed time. Somebody said, your mom probably expected it to be a month or 2 since he's working, but has no living expenses and didn't during their relationship, not 4 years. Where the hell is his money going if he can't get his own place? Somebody said, he had at least 4 years to save before your mother passed away, plus the 4 years since then. He has only been paying for food and presumably his phone, car insurance, fuel, etc. in that time. He should have incredibly healthy savings, especially as he was living with his sister, to save up before that. The mother probably thought that he'd take a month or 2 to grieve, spend a month or 4 looking in earnest, and be out of your hair within the year. If he was saving, say, $150 per month while the mother was alive, rent plus utilities and council tax, local equivalent on a 2-bed house, flat has to be at least that pretty much everywhere in what sounds like the US, right? That'd be $72,000 before she passed. The same again since then, and whatever he had beforehand. Of course, he could afford to move out straight away, Dude should have a good 150,000 minimum sitting in his bank account. That's most definitely, screw this. I'm off to a hotel to complain to people who I can tell a very slanted version of the story to. Money. Somebody said, if it happened exactly how you said, you're not the asshole. If she did say he had time to save, but would need to look for his own place, that means she never imagined or wanted him staying for long. So you're breaking no promises. Did she leave him any money or assets? It's totally possible that your mother would be livid if she knew her boyfriend was still living with her son after 4 years. Original poster replied, no. She created a fund for his son for his college, but that was the only money set aside for him or his son. It's a generous amount enough for 4 years at a high-dollar school. Anything not used for school will be given to him on his 25th birthday. From what I believe she told me, a lawyer and accountant are in charge of those funds, not me or my sister. So I only know what she told us before she died. Somebody said, sweetheart, you are not the whole. First, I am so sorry I'm 63 years old and lost my mom 2 years ago and my dad 8 years ago. I am not dealing with it well at all. You are the only one who knows if you're telling the truth. It seems very plausible to me. But if he was already saving money for a house when he met your mom, then lived 4 years with her and another 4 years with you, that man is just a loser. Is there any way your dad could come stay with you the week he moves out? The first thing you need to do is change all of the locks and get yourself some sort of security system. Please don't feel bad for making him leave. It seems to me that your mom was really smart and planned things out very carefully. Being that he had already lived with her for 4 years, I agree with the commenters who said she was probably thinking a month or two, not years. If your sister makes any more comments, then you can tell her she's welcome to let him live with her. Again, so sorry for your loss. Please make sure you're safe and take care of yourself. Original poster replied, thank you so much. My mom was the sweetest person, and when I was a teenager, I felt like I was a nightmare to her. I am thankful I was much better in my late teens and 20 and 21, so she got to see me mature a little before she passed. I wasn't always the best daughter, but she was always the best mom. Thank you so much. I think part of letting him stay so long is having bonded with his son, but also I liked having someone else around who loved my mom too. There were nights I would wake up from a nightmare and end up in the kitchen, and he would hear me and just come make a cup of coffee and sit and share a story about her. His son loves mom too, and some evenings we would get takeout and watch movies and joke about what commentary my mom would have had if she had seen the movie with us. My sister lives a state away, so we only really see each other once a month or so. I liked not being alone in this big house. I do have a security system, and the locks have been changed. He is coming over tomorrow to get his stuff. A commenter, if he has stayed gone, I'm really hoping that you've changed the locks and gotten a security system. The first time I read what you wrote, I was thinking he walked out that night because he was upset. When I reread it, I realized that you were saying he moved out. Apologies for misunderstanding. Another commenter said, I ditto this comment. However, I am 53 and my mom passed away last April. That leech has been taking advantage of your family long enough. You can either set the record straight with his ex and girlfriend or close the book on this chapter. But definitely know that you are not the a-hole and your mom's request has been honored. I know that she is proud of you for being as good as you have been to him and his son. Take care, another commenter said. Not the a-hole. Your mom wouldn't have wanted him to act this way after allowing him to live there. You said that she tried to set expectations with him if he were to be staying there, and I would assume that what he's doing would be breaking any agreement that they had reached. Beyond that, your mom only told you to let him live there until he could get his own place, and he's had more than enough time, especially not having to pay rent. Update. 1 day later. I know the other sub is very subjective on updates, so I figured I would post it here. I do want to take a moment to address some things I saw in the comment. 1. There are trusts set up and neither me nor my sister has full access to the money left us. This was done both because my sister and I were in our early 20s when my mom died, and she wanted to make sure we had some stability before we had access, and to protect us from people who may try to take advantage, especially while we were grieving. 2. I have a lawyer. He has already informed me legally in my area what eviction laws are, and my mom's former boyfriend will be served with formal eviction papers just to cover myself even after today. So to the update, my dad came over, decided not to have my boyfriend over, since he doesn't know about the money side, and I wasn't trying to have the boyfriend out of the situation, this morning, and brought along my cousin. For easier telling, I'm going to call mom's former boyfriend, Charles. Charles showed up about 10 a.m. my time and talked to my dad, then asked if he could have a couple of minutes alone with me. Dad nodded, so my cousin and he went into the kitchen, and Charles and I sat in the living room. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to go as it had, but I am glad it did. Charles started with an apology. I don't remember all of the words said, but the basics were, he missed my mom. He has been lonely, but not alone, thanks to me and his son. He was sorry for what had happened, that he got caught up in lust and let someone else fill his head with ideas, and that he owned up to his mistakes and should have never put up with someone who would disrespect me or my mom's memory. He tried to hand me a cashier's check for $15,000. He said it wasn't much, but he wanted me to know he appreciated me and living with me, and that he wanted to pay back some of what he owed. I refused the check, both in part because I never wanted his money, but I also don't want to give any possible legal leg for him to stand on if this is somehow him trying to stay. I told him the first part and told him to put it towards a house. He told me he is living with his sister, but is going to look at houses with a realtor next week. He did say his son is asking about our next hangout date and said both me and my sister are welcome to arrange time with him. After all of that, my dad and cousin helped him get all the stuff out of the house that he owned. He had brought a U-Haul, and he gave me back my house keys. He apologized again and left. Not what I expected. But it went really well, and I feel a lot less like I let my mom down. Comments. Someone asked, I'm just being nosy. Sure, but how did the woman who thought she's getting you kicked out of your house respond to it all? Original poster replied, no clue. At my house, she just seemed smug and bitchy. I didn't ask Charles about her and honestly don't care. My house is nice, but it's not like it's multi-million dollars or anything. Somebody said, had you said all that stuff in the previous post to him away from his girlfriend? Were you not there when he grabbed her to leave? Just wondering, because I assumed it was said in front of her, and that's why she left so easily instead of trying to fight to make you leave. Original poster replied, all that got said in front of her was that I wasn't going to be disrespected in my house and he could have 30 days to find new housing, and she was not welcome back. That was all I said in front of her, and she kept a pissy face on but didn't say anything to me and walked out with him. Somebody said, I just remembered I could really use 15,000 lol. Some fool had to say it. Anyway, good luck. Didn't read even a hint of being gay. The a hole. I am glad you hired a lawyer. Why people avoid this, I do not know. It's a good way to understand the law and follow the rules. Update. 10 days later. This is probably going to be my last update unless something unexpected happens, but I thought I would just give a quick update on Charles. So Charles called me last week and again yesterday. He put an offer on a house and yesterday got accepted. They expected the close date to be early next month, but I am very proud of him. I know everyone expected more drama, and honestly some of the comments had me worried, but it's been really good. He thanked me a lot for letting him have so much time here, offered me some money one more time for his time here, which I again declined, but I did offer to help him move in when the time comes. He put down almost half for a down payment, so he definitely was saving money during his time here, and I'm glad everything that happened was an encouragement for him to get into a home of his own. I talked to his son yesterday after he got out of school. We are going to play laser tag this weekend with my sister, and he is excited for the new house too. Some comments below. That's great. Turns out it was a misunderstanding. I do hope he was genuine, and that his new house is not too far from you so you can maintain the relationship with him and his son. On the off chance, he'll let someone else fill his head with indecent ideas. Make sure he knows he has absolutely no say in your and your sister's future money. It's Secret Howley. He really should have bought that house years ago. He knew your mother only wanted him to not be homeless. He knew she didn't want him to freeload off of you. But it's in the past now, and in about 10 years, you'll all look back on this as one more anecdote, and you'll still maintain a good relationship with him and his son. I hope the house he bought isn't too far from yours, so that you can maintain that friendship. It sounds like everyone has grown here. Thanks for updating. Wow, this is probably the only ending to something like that that's so positive I've ever seen. People are usually so shitty. I'm always hearing about people being taken advantage of, screwed over. Just last week, my friend asked if my dad is the kind of lawyer that can deal with evictions. Her grandfather was being elderly abused by his wife who had just passed, her entire family, and some homeless dude she met off the street and took in. He owed more money on his house than he bought it for. Had 4 cars in his name, but none in his possession. Wasn't eating regularly, as these assholes living there spent all the food money on drugs. They even locked him in his room. As soon as his wife and the grandmother to one of them living there died, they tried to empty his bank account, refinance the house for the 4th time. When they finally got evicted, they took every little thing worth anything and left it full of junk. They even left their dogs. This man is 88. How can anyone treat another human being that way? Especially one who took them in, bought them cars, supported them. It's just really nice to hear a good ending to a story and to know we're not all selfish crap and there are some decent people out there. Update: 1 month later, I didn't expect to come back, but I had a surprise this past weekend and I thought I would share some positives. So first off, Charles got his house. He closed and moved in this past week. He invited me over on Saturday to see the house and told me he had something for me. So some background on my mom. Mom was an amazing, kind woman. She was also heavyset and very self-conscious. Most of the photos I have of her are Snapchat pictures she would send. She hated pictures of herself, and she absolutely refused to pose for a camera. I have made many comments since she passed that I worry I won't remember what she looked like, since so many photos I have are either old or filtered. So back to present day, Charles invited me and my sister over and showed us his new place. He thanked us for being amazing people, and then he handed us each a photo album. Guys, he had hundreds of photos of my mom printed off for each of us. He told us he hated that she filtered her photos, and he has secretly been taking photos of her their whole relationship because he loved the real her. He had snagged photos of us with her at the zoo, photos of her on vacations, photos of her napping, photos of her during hikes. Both me and my sister were bawling looking through these pictures of mom we never knew we needed. He had put some little card notes for dates of each photo and some descriptions on some. He managed to capture her smiling and laughing, things she would never take a picture of because she didn't like her smile. To me, this book is priceless. So that's it. Charles is amazing, and maybe we had one bad moment, but it doesn't define him or I. He loved my mom, and that matters. We are all going to get together for my mom's birthday in a few months and just celebrate the woman she was. Top comments. Somebody said, "That's so wonderful and touching. And I love that your mother was so beloved during her life and now, and so glad that you updated a great resolution to a moment of poor judgment." Somebody said, "These photos are a real treasure. It's amazing how much joy can shine through in candid shots like these. I bet they bring back so many fond memories for you and your sister." It's wonderful that Charles had the thoughtfulness to capture your mom's true essence, her playful side, as well as her tender moments. I like stories like these. As much as I like to throw mud and shout shame for people who behaved shitty, it is refreshing to see such a turnaround after a situation like this. Humans are complex and weird. We villainize people in these stories as thoroughly evil, irredeemable, pond scum so quickly when they aren't. They're just regular, normal people who hold both selfishness as well as deep love and care for others.